Hi, everyone. I am Semele Bilbrey. I am your biggest fan, your biggest encourager. I love encouraging moms because I think that we all need a little bit of encouragement from the people around us and the people that are not around us, because being a mom is sometimes a difficult thing, but it's definitely worth all of the time and the effort that we put into it. And so, a little bit about myself. If you don't know me, I am a homeschooling mom. I have 6 kids and 1 grandchild and another grandchild on the way. And I have homeschooled all of my kids. I've graduated 3. I have 3 in the queue still. But I also am not a believer that homeschooling is the only answer. I think every family needs to make their own decisions for what is right for their family in that season and for that child. So if you are here and you're listening to me and you're not a homeschooling mom, don't worry. It's not something, that you cannot benefit from. So today I wanted to talk about a subject that has become very dear to my heart, and that subject is autism. My youngest son is going to be 10 in November, and he was recently diagnosed with moderate autism. And this has been a journey to get here. It's been a very, very long journey. And one of the things that has happened to me since we got the diagnosis and started telling people is we've had one of 2 responses. Some people are like, oh yeah, I wondered about that. And then other people are like, surely not. And that just goes to show the wide spectrum that is autism. It just goes to show how different it is. And so I wanted to talk for a moment about the mommies out there who maybe have autistic kids, or they have kids that have other types of special needs. My son, who is autistic, also is a type 1 diabetic. So there are a lot of things that go in and out with him, and a lot of things that we have to manage on a day-to-day basis to figure out what is the best way to help him to be successful each day. And the answer to that changes on the hour sometimes. And for us, sometimes that can be very frustrating, and it can feel very isolating because we can't just leave him wherever. We can't just leave him with whomever. We have to make sure that he's around people that have an idea how to deal with diabetes. We have to make sure that he's around people that have an idea of how to deal with autism, that are going to be understanding towards him if he starts to become overwhelmed or overloaded. Sometimes that will present as some temper tantrums, and that's hard to deal with sometimes, and it's hard for us to deal with, and it is hard for other people who don't really know how to deal with it and it's scary. So to somebody who's not around it. So I just wanted to talk for a moment about all of the kiddos that are out there. We have so many kiddos out there in the places that we go, in church and in schools and in the store and in the movie theater and the restaurant. There are kids everywhere, and each one of them has their own thing, right? So for my youngest, his things are autism and diabetes. And so what that looks like for him is that we have to keep an eye on him on what he's eating. We have to give him shots for what he's eating for the diabetes. We have to make sure that his shoes are in the car, because he probably doesn't have them on because he doesn't like the feel of shoes on his feet. Getting anywhere is often a fight because that requires him to get dressed. It also requires him to leave his environment where he's comfortable. Things like that are difficult. And sometimes when he starts to get overwhelmed, he will get stuck. And so that can look like a entitled child, for example. Like, we were on vacation recently, and he had it in his mind we went to go get ice cream. We were on vacation. We said, let's go get some ice cream. And he had it in his mind of what size of an ice cream he was going to get. And it being really close to bedtime, I had it in my mind of a different size that he was going to get. I wanted him to get the child size, and he wanted to get a large. And so as we went back and forth about this in the restaurant, what ultimately ended up happening is we left with no ice cream because it was something that I was unwilling to budge on and something that he was unwilling to budge on. And I'm sure to the people around us, it looked like he was a very spoiled and entitled child. And the truth is, that's not what was going on at all. The truth is, he was stuck. And so for me, the difficult decision is, do I yield sometimes to that when he's stuck and just go ahead and let him have the thing that he's stuck on? Or do I hold my ground? And the answer to that is never easy. It's not ever easy. When I yield and I let him have something because he is stuck, I feel guilty. I feel like a bad mom. I feel like a weak mom. And when I stand firm and I don't let him have something and he's very upset and I understand the back part of that, I feel guilty and I feel like a bad mom. So there's pretty much that constant feeling of not being enough for my kid. And I know as a special needs mom that I am not the only mom that has ever felt she is not enough for her kid. And I have 5 other children. He is the youngest of 6. So I have 5 other children, and some of them are also special needs. My youngest daughter, is extremely ADHD. But some of them have some special needs and some of them don't have extra needs. But I can tell you that with each child, there have been times when I have felt like I'm not enough for them. And I have felt very alone and felt very incapable and felt just like, who am I to parent these children? And so I bring that up because I think that there are a lot of moms out there who maybe their children don't have any form of a special needs diagnosis, but they are struggling alone because they don't feel like it's okay to say, who am I to parent these kids? I don't feel like I'm doing it right. I feel like a failure a lot of the time. I feel incapable. I feel like I'm not enough. I feel like I don't have the right answers. And I think it's so important that as moms, that we come alongside each other and we encourage each other and we go ahead and talk about it. We go ahead and talk about the fact that we don't feel like we have it all together most of the time. I've spent a good lot of my adult life, my adult parenting life, saying things to myself that were very unhelpful. And some of those things have been, when am I ever going to grow up and get it together? How can I expect my kids to grow up and get it together when I don't have it together yet? Is there ever going to come a time when I'm going to arrive and I'm going to actually know what I'm doing? Or I'm going to actually feel confident in what I'm doing? I'm just not capable of doing this. I'm not as good of a mom as so-and-so down the street, or so-and-so who has a great Instagram feed or whatever. And the truth is that God called us to be mommy to the children that he called us to be mommy to. And he doesn't make mistakes. Okay? He doesn't make mistakes. He didn't make a mistake when my son was born autistic. He didn't make a mistake when my son was born with a pancreas that doesn't work anymore. He didn't make a mistake in bringing my son into my family. He didn't make a mistake when he made you who struggle with depression. He didn't make a mistake when he made you a person who struggles with attention, maybe, or maybe you're not very organized. That's not your strong suit, or, insert whatever other thing we say as moms, where this is something that's wrong with me, this is something that's wrong with me, or this is something that's wrong with my kid. I was talking with my husband today at lunch, and I was like talking about somebody else, and I was like, I don't know what all is actually wrong with him. And then I said, you know what? Actually, I don't like that terminology. I don't know what all is actually different about him. Would be a better way of saying it, because just because it's different doesn't make it wrong. Sometimes it's more challenging, for sure. Absolutely. And do I wish that my son was not autistic? Yeah, for sure. I do. Absolutely. Do I wish that my son was not diabetic? Yes, I do. Absolutely. Do I wish that my daughter was not severely ADHD? Yeah, I do. There are a lot of times when I just wish that they were just normal kids. But there is not normal. There is no normal. Normal is like this illusion that we think exists because people post their normal and they're happy and their whatever pictures on Facebook and Instagram and whatever. And the truth is, that's not reality. There isn't normal. Normal's not a thing. So anyways, I just wanted to pop on here today and just give you a word of encouragement about that, and just tell you that if you are struggling in any way, that you can always reach out to me or to other moms in your circle that are safe to talk to, because I guarantee you the moms that are around you are struggling too. Hold on just a second. Okay, so I had to take a mommy break and go deal with my kids, but I wanted to leave you with one parting thought. So my son was diagnosed last week. So it's been about a week that we've been chewing on this diagnosis, but it's been a while that we've been kind of thinking it's a thing and wondering about it. But this is what I want you to hear from me today. For whatever struggle it is that you're struggling with, whatever is happening, the reality is we got the diagnosis last week, but he didn't catch autism last week. He was born autistic, and we have been dealing with autism all this time. So it changes everything and it changes nothing all at the same time. But this is what I want you to hear. If you are facing something, some sort of diagnosis or some sort of news, or something difficult has happened in your life, this is what I want you to hear. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I have been fully known. That's 1 Corinthians 13:12. And what this says to me is we see things in little pieces and then big pieces, and then we know more, and then we know more. But the thing is, before we know anything, we are already fully known. And we don't need to be anything other than who we are, because we are already fully known, and we are already fully loved, and we are already fully in His hands. And nothing that's happening in your life today comes as a surprise to God. So hang in there. Be blessed. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all of the things. If you're on YouTube, down below, hit subscribe for me. If you're on Facebook or whatever, hit the share button, hit the like button, and go ahead and visit nailingjello-to-a-tree.com whenever you just want to pop around. I'll be adding more and more content to that in the coming weeks on many different subjects, including Trim Healthy Mama and homeschooling and all of the things, family time, anything that you're interested in. Send me a message or give me a comment, and I will try to hit all of the things that people are interested in. Have a great day and be blessed.